flaky, buttery pastry topped with a bounty of beautiful fruit. We're cooking up this crostata as we kick off a week of delicious desserts. I'm Jeff Philbin. Dinner DeeAs Dessert Week starts now. Here to get our dessert week started with a simple idea that anyone can make, or rather bake, is Chef Raquel Ferreira from St. Pete's, Juno and the Peacock. Hello, my friend.
Hi, how are you?
It is so good to see you. Bring it in for a hug. I'm in a hugging mode today because Chef Raquel has a recipe that started as a simple pie dough, but evolved over the years into this fantastic fruit crostata. And we'll show you how to do the dough. We're going to prep the fruit, and don't tell anyone, but frozen fruit is fine. Now, you said you took this to the next level here with the introduction of laminated butter.
Yes.
Now, that's what's used in a croissant to really give it that beautiful airiness and those pockets. So, is this gonna be hard?
No.
It's
I
not.
simplified it.
You simplified the whole process.
I pretty much just took the amount of butter you would in your pie crust, and I experimented. I took half of that and wanted to see what would happen if I laminated the way I do croissants, and it worked out.
I love that. Now, laminating is where we're going to show you how we take the dough and the butter, we fold it into the layers. And what happens in that baking process, the water evaporates, and that's what gives it that lift, all of those open pockets. That's where you can really see it come to fruition.
Yes.
All right, well, speaking of fruition, let's talk about some fruits over here. So what do we got to start over here?
We are going to start with, we've got our peaches. We're going to mix in our raspberries into here.
I love raspberries.
I do too.
Just a beautiful tartness behind them.
We are also going to add, in this bowl here, I put together our flour, our sugar, and our ground ginger. So that we're gonna pour right into our fruit.
Okay.
And Jeff, I'm gonna have you cut and squeeze fresh orange juice.
Very nice.
Here you go.
I have the exact same knife.
Isn't it great?
It really,
I love it.
it really is. It feels very good in my hands right now. I know exactly how this is supposed to feel.
And squeeze right in. Pour them in here.
You could already start smelling the essence of the orange coming through right now.
I either use lemon juice or orange. I went with orange today because that's what my gut told me.
That's what you're, so like what you're saying is listen to your gut.
Yes, always, always.
All right, so we got some orange juice over here.
Perfect.
Perfectly squeezed.
Beautiful.
It smells so nice.
Oh, it's so nice. So now we're just gonna mix this all together so all the fruit is coated with sugar and flour and spices. So this is going to just sit at room temp while you make your dough.
Okay.
So the recipe calls for a pound of butter. I took half of it and I reserved it for what we're gonna crumble into the flour. The other half we're going to form a butter block, which is what we'll use to laminate our dough.
Okay.
So I will start by, I'll take my half a block of butter, which you're gonna want at room temperature for the most part. We're gonna set it in the center. And this part I don't actually measure how wide I want a butter block. What you're gonna do is you're gonna form into whatever size rectangle you get, but make sure when we go to do our dough, that's when it matters. We're gonna kind of form our dough to the size that we end up with.
So it should match. They should align. So that way when you have that fold, that butter connects with all that dough and creates those even layers. That's what you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll it out and you can see your butter is pliable and that's what you're looking for.
Now, because it's pliable and because we're gonna be moving it throughout this whole surface area, what's the desired width here? What are we looking for?
Think of like, you have a sheet of paper. Think about a quarter of that sheet of paper. That's about the size butter block you want.
Okay, okay. And then how thick are we looking?
I would say about a 1/4 inch at most.
Okay.
That can now sit aside.
And we can keep that at room temperature.
Room temperature, you want it at room temperature.
Okay.
It's super important because when you go to laminate dough, you want your butter to be about the same temperature as your dough For the reason being, if you start with cold butter laminating a dough, it's gonna break through your dough. And that's when you end up with tough, flaky dough.
Okay.
So you don't want that.
We want soft.
Yes.
We really want, and we also want that water to evaporate out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the fun part.
Okay.
The fun part.
Who said it was the fun part? Now I've been having fun since you came on right now. All right.
Oh my goodness. So we've got here our flour, our salt, and our sugar. We're gonna add our cubed up butter that we reserved.
Okay. Now do we just
Dump it
throw
all
it,
in
just
there.
dump it all in?
Yep, and we're
Cannonball.
gonna, yep, go for it.
Okay.
And we're gonna get in there, use your hands.
You just use your hands.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Right in. You're mashing it up, and what you're looking for, what I always do is I wanna mash it and have flat pieces. That's what you're looking for. You don't really
Okay.
want chunks of butter
Like this?
throughout. Yep, you
Okay.
want flat pieces like that.
All right. And Chef Raquel has her recipe for this fruit crostata ready and waiting for you to grab on our website, dinnerdeas.com. All the amounts, ingredients, and detailed directions that you need to make this at home. Just get your phone, open the camera app, and point at the QR code to find us right now. That one's a good one right there.
That is a good one.
All right.
It's a really good one. So we'll finish this one. This might take like 2 seconds here.
All right, what do we need to do next then?
So next, you're going to form a well in the center
Okay.
of your flour. You're gonna take your egg yolks, dump them right in the center.
Okay.
You got it. We're gonna add our vinegar.
Vinegar.
Yep.
What type of vinegar?
Just white distilled vinegar.
Okay.
And a splash of water.
Just a splash, you say?
Yeah, just to kind of blend it in. So let's take a spatula
Okay.
and just mix it up in there. The reason I use egg yolks and vinegar, it helps your dough become flakier
Okay.
and more tender. So I said, why not? All right, that's good.
That's good?
Yep.
Okay.
So now we are going to kind of push the dough back and sprinkle about a quarter of your water.
About a quarter?
Yep. All over.
Okay, get a little bit on that side here.
Yep. And now we're gonna fold flour. Let's take the big spatula for
Okay.
this one. We're gonna fold the dough towards the center. Yep. And then make sure you rotate your bowl as you go because you're forming a whole circle. Once you complete a circle, add another quarter of water. Now, normally, when I add the water in portions and in parts because with baking, when it comes to flour, temperature, weather, it plays a huge role. Florida's humid, so sometimes your flour already has moisture in it. You might not need as much water as you would making this pie in Massachusetts.
Okay, so then what type of texture are we looking for? Because right now it's starting to kind of come together, but it's looking a little shaggy.
It is. So you're looking for that. You definitely want to look for that. So once we add about half of that water, now we're going to use our hands again so we feel the dough. We can see the texture, we can feel the texture, and we will know if we need a little more or if we're there. So I'm going to get in here, and what I'm looking for is, you see shaggy pieces like this?
Yeah.
This dough feels pretty hydrated, so we are pretty much just about there. So now I always press it into the bowl while I get myself ready for the next step, which will be laminating.
Ooh, I can't wait to do that, but this dough ain't done yet. When we come back, 2 delicious words that we love to hear. More butter. How Chef Raquel adds her magic, and yes, more butter ahead on Dinner Deas. Welcome back to Dinner Deas, or rather Dessert Deas, since we're skipping dinner to have fun with cakes, pastries, and sweet treats all week long. And we're starting out by baking a simple dish that makes frozen fruit into a fancy feast. a fruit crostata thanks to Chef Raquel Ferrer from St. Pete's, Juneau and the Peacock. Before the break, we combined frozen peaches and raspberries with sugar, flour, and ginger, then sliced an orange and juiced it into them. Then made the dough, dividing the butter, putting half between 2 pieces of parchment paper to make a butter block, which we'll need again in a moment. Then we blended the rest with our dry ingredients, flour, salt, and sugar, then making a well and adding wet ingredients, egg yolks, water, and vinegar. Slowly adding more water as the liquid was absorbed into the dough, and that's what it's been doing over here.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do next with it?
Now we're gonna laminate.
Okay.
So we're gonna take our dough onto our floured table. And here we're gonna form a rectangle. What we're gonna do is we're gonna form and roll out a rectangle that is about twice the size as your butter block is.
So why would we do it double?
Folding it
Yeah.
double, you wanna create the most amount of layers of flour butter.
And that again is why that lamination is so important, that whole step in that process. That
Yes.
folding creates those layers, and that water that evaporates from the butter, that's what's gonna give it really that lightness and that
Yes.
airiness behind it.
Exactly. So here I am just working the dough. If you need to flour a little bit, use a little bit. Try not to add too much flour because more flour takes away that moisture you want to create these beautiful layers throughout your dough. So here we are.
Now, I still see bits of the butter. Is that good?
That's okay
That's
because
okay.
we're gonna work the dough a couple of folds so it's gonna,
Come
mash.
together as
Yep,
one. Okay.
Exactly. You don't want huge pieces because then that means you have to work the dough more to break that down. I think we're just about there. So I'm gonna take that. There's our butter. You're gonna take a bench scraper or a knife, whatever has a blade on it. Cut it, and you're gonna make a sandwich.
And now the other half is gonna go on top of the butter.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now you've got dough and butter and dough again. So now we're gonna start our first fold. Our first fold is gonna be what gives us our first set of layers. And you wanna add flour so you're not sticking all over the place here. So go ahead and do that. Jeff, do you wanna roll it out into a rectangle?
Yeah, sure. All right.
So I would start this way,
Okay.
and then you wanna do, what I do is I kind of, when I roll, I try to start from the center and work that way, and then go back to the center and work that way.
Okay.
And then go that way so you can start forming your corners a little better. There we go. And I'm gonna help you just a little bit
Okay.
here.
Show me a little bit more then.
Just almost there.
Even
So-
more force, more
Yep,
pressure.
a little
here.
more.
Okay.
I would roll with that. That looks good to me.
I like how you just kind of spun that. I would roll with that. I'm rolling with what you're throwing down over here.
You got me?
All right.
So we're gonna do the first fold. We prepped our dough for that. We're gonna fold one side about, let's say, a quarter to a third of the way.
Okay.
Then you're gonna take the other side and meet this seam.
And meet right there on the seam there.
You can even just pick up the parchment if you need to.
Okay. Do that.
And then peel it
And
off.
peel.
And now we're gonna fold it like a book. All the way, yep.
Okay.
There we go. So now we just completed our first fold.
All right.
We're gonna do our last one. And just flour, flour, flour. Turn your dough so it's long
Along.
on the horizon, yep.
Okay.
And now we're gonna do exactly what we did. So you start to see how your dough is coming together a lot more now. It's
Yes.
not so shaggy, it's cohesive.
And that butter now is becoming much
Yes.
more together as one.
What I explain to my daughter is, your dough's getting pretty close when it looks like a planet, like the surface of a planet. You see the flour and butter. You see how you see
Okay.
like Saturn, let's say, or Jupiter. And now I'm gonna help you out a little bit here.
Okay.
Because you're getting skinny on
Getting,
one side.
and we're getting a little
Yep,
sticky over on this side here.
we are. So do like that. Here, you go right here. Perfect. And one more. That looks good. All right. I'm gonna go this way a little bit. Okay. Now you've done this once. You got it?
All right, going into a third here.
Yes. And at this point, this is our last fold, so I make sure I'm brushing that excess flour off.
Okay.
So my dough sticks together.
So that dough sticks together.
Yep. And then don't forget to seal that. And then close the book. Perfect. And our dough is done. So now what we're gonna do, we wanna chill this. I cut it in half because it's easiest for me to handle later. I cut it in half, and what I do is I use half now and I save the other half for another day.
So you got it ready to go.
Always have pie dough in my freezer.
I love that, and you should too, because the dough's gonna chill, and so are we. But we'll be back, and so will it, after the break, when we will bring it all together with the fruit filling from earlier and get it into the oven. Ahead on Dinner Deas. Well, welcome back to Dinner Deas. Usually you're home for ideas for dinner. This week, though, we're doing ideas for dessert. Today, we're getting things started with a fruit crostata, and it sounds pretty fancy, but spoiler alert, it's pretty easy to make. Thanks to Chef Raquel Ferreira from St. Pete's Juneau and the Peacock. Before the break, we rolled our dough into a rectangle, twice the size of the butter block we did earlier, putting that in the center of the dough, then wrapping it up like a package and rolling it out and folding it again and again, then wrapping it in plastic and letting it chill for an hour. And we have one that you made earlier, which you've been tempering during the break.
Yeah, the reason I do that is because sometimes it's really hard to roll out really cold dough. It's still cold, but I'm able to form what I need to form out of it, so.
Okay. And so you were just kind of rolling that out as such.
I rolled it out to about 1/8 of an inch at most.
1/8 of an inch now. Okay. You got any tips for someone at home of how to make the perfect size?
Yeah, well, most of us can't make a perfect circle by hand, so grab a dinner plate, that works. A bowl or plate, whatever size, you put it on top of your already rolled out dough.
Okay.
And you're just gonna cut. It doesn't have to be perfect.
But this will really help someone at home to know exactly what
Yes.
size shape they're working. So a dinner plate size would probably be an ideal place here. And then you get a really nice round
now
circle
you have
here.
a circle.
Okay. What do we do next with it?
We are going to take it over to our sheet pan, and we're gonna form our crostata right on our sheet pan, where we can just take it right into the oven.
All right, let's
That's
go
it.
for it.
Let's do it. So with this, we're gonna take our thawed fruit, give it a good stir. And sometimes you might use all that fruit, sometimes you might have a little leftover, whatever you'd like. If you want a really full one, you can do that. And just make sure you're leaving about, I would say, 1 to 1.5 inch border.
Okay.
Because that's what you're gonna fold up.
Okay, so we just want to make sure it's only in the middle here.
Only in the middle.
Inch or so around left.
I'm gonna put just that amount right now.
Okay.
You could save that and fill some scraps, make little empanadas, whatever you want with it.
Oh, okay, kind of cool then.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we got to do next?
So now I take egg wash, which is just some egg and water, and just kind of blend it together, beat it with a whisk.
Okay, so that extra area that we've reserved to not have any of that fruit mixture now is going to get that egg wash.
Yes. So this is the cool part. It's a free form pie. You're gonna fold right in, seal.
And that egg wash here, that's what's helping to glue it together. That's forming that seal as it comes around, so it sticks to each other every which way here.
Exactly. So we're folding. You want to leave the center open because the fruit looks pretty afterwards.
And also you need an area for all that moisture to release too. So that way then it's not going to bubble up and kind of start spreading from the other side. It can be able to just release from the center while you form that beautiful crust around.
So we're going to form that. You're going to egg wash again. Get right under where you folded so it seals.
To make this perfect pastry for your dinner tonight, or be restrained and save it for dessert, grab Chef Raquel's recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code to find it right now with your phone.
And last, you sprinkle some sugar. I did raw sugar, like the flavor of it.
And you like the flavor, and the texture too is going to be a big
crunch.
piece of this. You're going to get a crunch factor, yeah.
Exactly. And this is ready for the oven.
And then that's going to go into the oven for how long?
About half an hour. Home ovens can be a little funny sometimes.
And at
it might
what
be
temperature?
A little, I would say about between 350 and 375.
350, 375,
Yeah.
upwards of a half hour, but keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. You want to check the bottom to make sure it looks golden underneath.
Very cool. This has got to get into the oven, and when we come back, join us as we go direct to dessert. Do not pass go or collect $200 and see how our crostata comes out ahead on Dinner Dias. Welcome back to Dinner Dias. We're doing desserts all this week and beginning by baking a fruit crostata from a recipe shared by Chef Raquel Ferreira from St. Pete's Juno and the Peacock.
How did we do? Oh my goodness. We did it. That's good.
That was a really good bite. That was a really good bite. Thanks again to Chef Raquel. Her recipe for this divine dessert is ready to grab at dinnerdeas.com, where we also have a link to Juno and the Peacock, where she's normally fixing fantastic food over in St. Pete. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more ideas for dinner or dessert for the rest of this week here on Dinner Dias.